Prediction markets are taking off, and unless you've been living under a rock, prediction markets have been all over the timeline on crypto Twitter for the past 48 hours. So let's talk about it. What are prediction markets? How do they work? And what edge can you have navigating this new potential trend in the crypto market? So if we look at crypto Twitter, a big reason prediction markets started taking off is because the CFTC granted Polymarket, one of the leading prediction markets, approval to operate crypto prediction markets in the US. And this is huge news for a lot of people, signaling that prediction markets are only starting and that there's a new big development, big step, finally allowing them into the US market. That being said, something I also found interesting that Sandra pointed out is prediction markets were all over the timeline, yet still prediction markets weren't even in the top 10 narratives yet. So although we're seeing a lot of uptick, a lot of interest in prediction markets, they're not in the top 10 mindshare of crypto Twitter. So there's still a lot of potential for prediction markets to take over mindshare on the timeline. Now, the next question for some of you becomes, what the fuck are prediction markets? And I found this useful post by Suhail that details prediction markets. It's a game where people bet money on what they think will happen in the future. The price of the bet shows what the crowd thinks is most likely. So let's take Polymarket, one of the most popular prediction markets. Let's take this one, for example. Fed decision in September. What will the Fed decide in September, on September 17th? Will they decrease the interest rate by 50 plus? Will they decrease it by 25? Will there be no change, or will they increase it by 25 based on what you predict? And we can see what other people, what percentages are other people betting on. Where are most people betting? And we can see most people are betting that the Fed will decrease interest rates by 25 points. And very interestingly, looking at the prediction market landscape, I'm starting to notice a lot of different niches in the prediction market starting to form. You have the general prediction market, just like Polymarket, the one I just shared. You have prediction markets focused specifically on sports and esports. You have prediction markets focused on social and pop culture events and outcomes. You have financial and crypto native prediction markets, and so on and so forth. There are so many niches starting to pop up every single day, which to me shows on the back end level, founders, projects are putting a lot of money. There's a lot of investment. There's a lot of upcoming construction, if you will. I think that's the best way of putting it. And if we look at the Kaito pre-TGE leaderboard, which shows us where mindshare currently is, Polymarket, the top prediction market, is currently leading the charge. It has the most amount of mindshare, which is interesting, right? Because if we go back to Sandra's post, prediction markets are all over the timeline, yet as a category, they're nowhere near the top 10 markets. But the single biggest prediction market is leading the charge with 7.6% mindshare. And this is where things get interesting, because we have prominent figures, a prominent creator like ICOB, someone who's very reputable when it comes to finding and spotting the next trend, the next meta, who said he's fairly certain the next wave of CT account meteoric risers will be prediction market content based, which basically means the next wave of big creators that are going to come forth and gain a lot of momentum, a lot of followers, a lot of attention, are going to be creators focused on prediction markets. Super obvious, the greater market is infatuated with them at the moment, and people want to follow clever / unique content in that vertical. So you have credible people like ICOB saying that the next wave of creators, the next wave of attention, the thing people care about the most right now and they're craving for is prediction market content. And then you have people who have made their presence all around the meme coin cycle. Solana meme coins say things like prediction markets are not nearly as fun as tokens. No debate about it. Meanwhile, if we look at the meme coin trenches, I think what's funny is, and I recognize this with the NFT market as well in 2021, where a lot of the big participants with NFTs, including myself, I was big on NFTs in 2020, 2021. It took us a lot of time to finally accept that NFTs were never coming back to the way they were, to their former glory days, to the top of the top, the golden age. And this is where I think a lot of meme coin trenchers, the people who made good money on meme coins, could potentially sideline themselves from the prediction market trend, essentially. Now, here are some interesting posts I found on Twitter based on the prediction market. And here's one that I found very interesting. Biggest unlock in prediction markets: you don't need to be right to win. You just need to be directionally accurate. A market move from 5 to 10% is a 2x. So stop asking, will this happen? Start asking, will people think this is more likely to happen? And this is a very interesting point. And we can go back to the previous example that I was using. Fed's decision in September. Will they cut the rates? Will they increase them? Will they decrease them? By how much will they increase them or decrease them? Most of the market right now, based on Jeremy Powell's statement, is pricing in a 25-point decrease. Now, imagine, I believe that from now until September 17th, so in the next 2 weeks, there's a chance Jeremy Powell might come out and say something a little negative. So I could be taking the position of no change. There will be no change, neither an increase nor a decrease. It'll remain, interest rates will remain flat. It's around 8%. Say I bet on no change, and Jeremy Powell goes ahead and says something that isn't positive for the markets, then this 8%, more people start betting on it after he does. So this 8%, say, goes to 16%. I've just doubled my money. 8% went to 16%. I just 2x'd my money. I don't even need to be right about the outcome, because once I've doubled my money, I can go ahead, click sell, and sell all of my shares in that bet that I just made. From that, the last post I wanted to highlight is by a very good friend of mine, Pix, who's been killing it when it comes to prediction market content. And he highlighted 3 plays in the prediction market that he thinks are mispriced. So 3 potentially big opportunities. One is an arbitrage play, which I found very interesting. So let's go through it. Most intermarket arbitrages happen between binary and categorical markets. One side usually has less liquidity and creates constant mispricing. Last week it was Mr. Beast. This week it's Trump meeting Putin by end of month. So let's look at this example. You have one market. Who will Trump meet in September? Where 4% of the bets, so you can buy Putin, shares of betting on Trump meeting Putin for 3 cents a share, or you can buy it on this market. Will Trump meet Putin again by September 30th, which is selling for 6 a share, 6 cents a share. So although the market is pricing it at a no for Putin, here there's a little discrepancy. So the prices are 2x, at a 2x difference, right? You can buy yes for 6 cents or for 3 cents here. So essentially there's a mispricement happening in the market based on the total volume, the total liquidity that exists on a certain bet. We can also look at opportunity number 2, good LPs. Rule of thumb, only LP markets you actually believe in. Reason, you need to earn at least $1 to get rewards, so sizing matters. A market Pix likes is Kai Cenat reaching 1 million subs by end of month. And this is where you could potentially provide liquidity in the liquidity pool for this specific bet. The reasons he believes it's a good bet is because, one, Twitch September discounts 1+ free sub per 5 gifted later in month. Kai Cenat set a public goal with LeBron haircut as a reward, and he already gained 136,000 new subs on day 2. So he now has a total of 200,000 subs, and we're still on day 2. And lastly, the third one, which is very interesting, 3 interesting markets. There are several unique markets around GTA 6. This is one of them. Will GTA 6 cost $100+, more than $100? And you can see most people have priced it in as a no. There's a 7% chance that GTA 6 comes out as more than $100+. However, what he's pointing out is read the rules carefully on this bet. So for this bet, if you read the rules, if GTA 6 is not released by February 28, 2026, this market will resolve to no being the answer. And if we look at the announced release date by Rockstar for GTA 6, they've announced release to be May 26, 2025. So if they stick to the official release date, which is in May, by February this year, or this coming year, GTA 6 will not be released. So the answer is going to be most likely a no. The market is going to resolve at most likely a no. And that's the kind of edge most retail traders skip over. And with that being said, I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know your thoughts on the prediction markets and if I missed out on anything. See you in the next one.